Welcome back to the Famous Monsters Podcast. We're always here to talk about horror, fantasy, and sci-fi, and everything just nerdery. With me today is Chase.
How's it going?
Newcomer Natalie.
What's up, guys?
And Eleni.
How's it going, guys?
And of course, I am George, your jack of all trades. Now, today we're going to be talking about something that's very dear to all of us, and it is Netflix.
What would we do without Netflix?
Go back to Blockbuster.
Where?
Some tombstone. Somewhere.
I heard there's actually a function one somewhere.
It's like two of them or something. Yeah.
Karen, one of our graphic designers, was actually telling us the other day that they still have Blockbuster down in Mexico.
Really?
Yeah, fully functioning, works just like
I mean,
used to.
they were franchised, so people just sort of kept doing it, is what I heard.
Yeah.
There's a couple relics there somewhere.
Somewhere out there, the mythical Blockbuster.
Somewhere over the
I feel like it's one of those things
rainbow.
we keep on bringing it back up every once in a
Yeah.
while. This
Yeah.
Blockbuster.
Yeah.
Because we miss you so much.
But we have Netflix now.
Yeah, Netflix was definitely the rental store killer. But like now it's coming to a place where it's not.
It's a TV.
plus Redbox.
Yeah, and Redbox, yeah. But
Mhm.
Netflix started it. Like, it had the streaming, plus you can get the videos right through the mail. Like, I love everything delivered to me.
Oh, totally.
That's how I live my life.
Yeah.
Get my groceries delivered, get my clothes delivered, I get everything delivered. If I don't have to leave my home, it is perfection.
Mhm.
And Netflix kind of really honed in on that. And now they're at a place where they're kind of killing, in a good way, film and television.
Yeah,
It's
they're
like,
TV killers.
why would
Yeah.
you go to watch something on network or cable when you could just either wait or see something that's only Netflix catered?
Yeah, totally.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and with that, like this week we have
There's so many
the
of them
Defenders coming out,
Yeah.
which is going to be huge and phenomenal. Hopefully, it's just ridiculous and blows everything out of the water.
Oh, yeah,
You know,
hopefully.
that's my hopes at least, because I think we all probably watched Daredevil and Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and some people probably suffered through Iron Fist. But we get ignored.
Every family needs a black sheep.
You know, that's theirs. It's okay.
Maybe he's a better team player.
Maybe, yeah. You know, now he's had some off time. Maybe he did some practicing.
He'll be the support. It's like me in video games. It's like, I'm not going to do anything, but I'll support you.
I will be there to take all the hits.
Yeah. It's like, if you need something like, oh my gosh, I dropped this. Like, here you go, buddy. I'll hand it to you. Go kick some butt, pal.
It's like the bard of the party.
Yeah.
RPG.
He just takes all the hits and he'll take some songs along the way. Someone has to tell the tale, right?
Someone
Why
has to
not be
tell
him?
the tale.
Yep.
I'll tell you why not, because there's someone better. That's why. Damn, George, you have some harshness here. You obviously didn't like the show. Maybe. I don't know.
Tell me how you really feel.
Silence covers it, right? I think so. Would you guys watch some of the series? What was some of your thoughts leading up until the Defenders?
Well, I saw Daredevil, and I saw Luke Cage.
Yeah. Power Man.
I did not see the other two.
I did not
I did
see
not,
it.
George. I did not. Oh, hi, Natalie.
I thought that, Daredevil was like my new love. I loved that show, but Jessica Jones for me was good, but I couldn't get through the whole thing because it was kind of depressing to me. It's pretty dark. It was very dark.
Sadness.
Ooh, what about you, Eleni?
I actually haven't seen any of them.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, snap.
So you're like our fresh newbie.
Oh, yeah.
person. This is perfect.
They're all those things where it's like they're on my list of things to watch. I just have to kind of make the time or get the focus for it, because then I just like on the weekends end up binging something else and playing video games, stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's hard to section out your free time.
I think I have the power. You can just go home, all right, early every day and go watch some Daredevil. All right.
Okay.
That's
for
what you
sure.
get to do now. All right?
Okay.
That's your job description. Just watch Netflix
I
shows.
mean, I have a computer here.
All right.
I could do it here.
You could, yeah, I guess.
I could, but
we
don't
don't want
want
to pay
to.
you for it. That's the thing.
The other thing is the list. The list will always grow because they keep releasing new things that I want to
I know.
watch.
Yeah,
I know.
with Marvel
So I'm
and
behind.
Netflix,
So
yeah,
I'm the
they
baby
just-
here.
It's true.
Yeah.
Well, I was I've watched the whole thing. I'm a comic book fan. I love Marvel. I love everything they're doing. You know, they're not perfect, but they know what they're doing. They know how to make something entertaining. And I think what's been really great with these Netflix Marvel shows is that they're kind of taking like the DC comic book approach, where they're villains, kind of make the show more appealing than the actual hero. Granted, the heroes are amazing too.
That's good to know because I'm a big fan of DC Comics.
Yeah,
I'm not as into Marvel Comics, but I love DC Comics.
Then definitely yes, for sure. Watch these.
Well,
shows.
that's. I think that was part of my hesitation too. Is like, how into this am I going to be if I'm like a DC fan?
I think it's insane. And it's dark. They take it definitely a darker approach.
Yeah.
So again, it's like it's that whole DC feel while still living in that kind of bright Marvel world. Like you're gonna have those moments where they give you a joke here or there, to lighten up everything. But it's in a very dark world visually and like psychologically. Like season 1 of Daredevil, you got Vincent D'Onofrio as Kingpin, and he freaking kills it.
Yeah.
He knocks it out of the park. And they write him in a way. He
kills it.
He kills people.
I'm like, oh my God.
He's crushing it physically with your head is getting crushed, but he's also crushing it in the business underground in world.
Oh, that was amazing. He was a really good villain.
Can you take a look at the pin number on the side of my car door here? Check the hairs. Yep. Smash.
Yeah.
Punch.
Dude is brutal. Like think of like brutal to the point of like American History X with Edward Norton doing the curb stomp. It's like that.
Let's just say you wouldn't see it in any of the Marvel movies.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah,
It's like the grown-up version of the Marvel movies.
Very much so. Yeah, like this is their way of doing something very dark without compromising the movie world. Even though they're going through a dark situation too. But they're villains. Like you feel for these villains in the Netflix Marvel shows as opposed to like the movies or even just like in the comic books in general, where it's like, all right, this guy's just a bad guy. I really don't care.
He's just a jerk.
But you see like Kingpin's history. It's like, oh, he wasn't really a bad guy. It's just he was raised in a bad neighborhood. His dad was kind of a pain in the butt, and he abused his mom. He abused him. It's like, okay, I could see why he would become such a bad guy.
Yeah.
He was never given the opportunity to be good or shown how to be good. So what else could he know? So you really feel bad for him within the whole show. Again with Jessica Jones, same thing with Killgrave or the Purple Man. Comic book, he's just a bad guy, but in the show, it's like you find out, his parents, again, it's like the parents were abusing him. And it shows that whole other spectrum where like Batman's like, my parents died. Now I gotta avenge them. Aquaman, my parents died. I gotta avenge them.
Not a common theme.
Every other with children, pay attention. Raise your kids right.
Yeah.
Don't screw up.
Yeah, don't die. Well, actually, if
Don't
you
die, don't
make
screw
sure,
up.
If you do die early, make sure to leave them massive amounts of money so they can become Batman.
Yeah.
Or good
Green Arrow.
Don't die unless you're rich.
I mean, hopefully they'd end up being a good Batman and not just like a really
Not an
lame
owl
one.
man. Yeah.
But
Comic book references. You'll get them.
yeah.
But yeah, I feel like that's been like the biggest reason to watch those shows is that they're really thinking about it. It's like every character means something. Everyone has some kind of depth, towards them. It's like, okay, I don't feel like this person maybe should die. Maybe I want to root for this person as opposed to the hero. It's like everyone is flawed in some way. It's very humanistic, which is amazing.
What's one of your favorite scenes?
My
from
favorite
the show?
scenes?
Yeah.
Oh man,
Which
it's always gonna go back to Daredevil. Like I said, Daredevil's like their Iron Man. They took this character that no one cared about anymore, and they made it amazing.
Yes.
Well, I mean, considering
good.
the last piece of Daredevil media that we were given.
Piece of.
People might
sums it
disagree
up.
with me on this, but I actually thought that movie, for 70% of it, was actually pretty well done. If you canceled out some of the fight scenes with Daredevil and Elektra, and just the whole love thing with Daredevil and Elektra, which is too bad because there's a great story behind that. But like Ben Affleck, to me, didn't do that bad of a job. It's just it goes back to like there's directing that goes into that. There's writing that goes into it. There's so much more. It's like it's not like he created the whole story. There's other things.
Oh
Like,
yeah, no.
as a visual standpoint, like it matched up with the comic book very well, and that's just from a person who's like reading every panel. It's like they put panel to
That's
screen
true. I do
on
like
a lot
that.
of things,
They
which
focus
was
that.
very nice. I don't want to fully crap on that movie. And and to be honest, the director's cut is actually a lot better than the
I haven't
one
seen the
that
director's
it's pretty good. But on that point though, the show surpasses the movie 1,000 times.
Yes.
And it's with some of those fight scenes. The fight scenes are very brutal. It's very much like if you've seen Atomic Blonde. It's like it's a lot of shots are just one shot, one camera, one shot, and it's just going through like a whole building. It doesn't cut away. And it's just him like fighting like 20 dudes at once, and he's getting tired.
Yeah, it's not like one of those stupid fight movies. It's like this dude just like beat up 100 people, and he's just like, yeah, I'm a little tired now. It's like you see him actually like falling down because he's so fatigued from fighting.
Yeah.
And then another guy comes out and he's like, ah, and he has to like fight this guy.
It's true. It makes those sounds like what, another one?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, it's something you see like in an actual fight. Like, I mean, fighting skills aside, like, it's like no one fights like that. It's like supreme MMA status.
Yeah.
But like,
And he's blind.
yeah, and he's
Which
blind.
is-
But it's like he actually gets tired, and that really, I was like, that makes it so much more believable now. It's like something more to draw you into it and be like, oh, it's not all just super complete fiction.
I mean,
It's like, this is enjoyable.
the whole thing basically is that way. It's just the whole thing with the Netflix Marvel series is that they just feel a lot more realistic than like the Marvel movies, even though it technically takes place in the same universe. In the movies, somebody gets knocked around like 37 times by 18 different villains. They just get back up and keep fighting and just kill another person.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you were saying with Daredevil, he'll be like leaning against the wall in between, or especially in the episode where he got stabbed before he went out and rescued that kid. He was definitely not in a very good shape at that time, and you could see it with the way that they choreographed it. It was really well, really well put together.
Yeah, and all those shows really do capture that. Like even the more powerful characters like Jessica Jones and Luke Cage, like the two of them, is like they're super strong, they have super speed, and all that kind of stuff, and you still see them by the end of like the episode. There's like, I can only lift so many cars at the end of the day.
It's harder than it looks.
So which one of them would you guys recommend starting with? Is there one that I should start with when I start watching them, or?
I started with Daredevil.
I
Yeah,
would say go in
Daredevil.
order. Go in which the
Okay.
order, and specifically because the order in which it is shown.
Oh, yeah.
There are little Easter eggs and things that tie them all
Oh, okay.
together that
Alright, that's
preps you
cool.
for the next one.
Yeah.
Got it.
You know? So like for the Defenders, anyone who's coming into this show, like every season of each character, there's something looming in the background, and that's the Hand. They're this underworld organization based in like this ninja mystical arts world that is pretty much taking over New York and trying to take over the world essentially. But they appear a little bit in every series, mostly in Daredevil and Iron Fist. But you'll see little things like there's like some drugs being put around places, and it'll have like a little dragon on it, and that hints towards like
I
Iron
see.
Fist and the Hand and all that stuff.
That's cool.
So there's little things like that, which is really nice for the comic book fans and just people who are just paying attention to the story in general. So I would advise watch it in order of which it came out, and then it'll set you up very nicely for the Defenders.
So the Hand, they're like ninja status, right?
Yeah, they're straight up ninjas. Yeah.
Actual
How come all like
ninjas.
villainous ninjas have to be like an appendage, like the Hand, the Foot Clan?
Well, funny thing, people who don't know is that the Foot Clan is actually mimicked off of the Hand.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so like Brian Laird and
Aaron
Kevin Eastman, or Peter Laird, and Kevin Eastman they were fans of Daredevil and Batman and stuff like that, and they created the Ninja Turtles based off of that.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
their Foot Clan is the Hand.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why there's that whole thing. But
It's funny.
it is funny
Yeah.
that there's the whole appendage thing.
I mean, Iron Fist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's another appendage.
All the time.
All the time.
All of them. Yeah.
Another fight scene I was thinking of, if I'm remembering, I'd only watched it the one time, so I'm trying to remember. Was the Punisher in jail? And
Oh, in
just
season 2, yes.
yeah, and then just like this onslaught came at him. That was pretty intense.
It wasn't. He makes his way to the Kingpin, who
Yeah.
is in prison also from season 1, and they duke it out
Yeah.
afterwards.
It's pretty sweet.
Yeah, in which then it shows exactly how powerful the Kingpin is.
Yeah.
Like, dude is a beast. In the comic book, they make him like this huge mountain of a man, you know. And D'Onofrio, like, he gets bulky enough, and his persona definitely is gratifying in that essence. Like, he seems like this mountain of a person to get past. And the Punisher has a hard time. He may get his butt whooped a little bit from it. But it is true. It's a very intense scene. Can't remember his full name, Earthnall.
I guess we're all clueless.
Gonna get that one thrown at me later. But the guy who was in The Walking Dead as Shane,
Yeah.
he does an amazing job as Punisher, which he'll have his own show coming out soon.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He deserves it.
I was
He
wondering
kicks
about
ass.
that.
Yeah.
dude is ridiculous. And it's something because I was a big fan of Tom Jane as Punisher. I thought he did a wonderful job.
Oh yeah.
And that movie was actually really good. Just puts a knife through a guy's head and you see it in the guy's mouth. Fucking, that's super cool. The violence was amazing. But Bernthal, freaking, he kicks it up a notch and a half and 1,000 and just destroys everything. It was utter destruction. It was like after watching season 1 and seeing a little bit of season 2, it's like, oh, Daredevil's pretty badass. Who the hell's gonna beat this guy? In comes the Punisher by himself with no ninja team. And pretty much he could have killed the Daredevil multiple times in the show.
Yeah.
For a guy who has less training, well, I should say less training, he's just different training. He was trained as someone in the military and a police officer and stuff like that, while Daredevil is really just this kid who gets trained by another blind guy how to fight.
Man,
Which
that's
when you
a
hear it
combo.
when you hear it like that,
Yeah.
it's like, that's not good
I
training.
think breaking it down to just calling Stick another blind guy maybe is misleading.
The blind guy turned this blind kid out to fight. He's really good. He's really good.
But yeah, Stick, side note, is like someone who actually in the show works with the hand. Like, it's kind of misleading. It's like, all right, Stick is with the hand, which means that Daredevil essentially got trained by the hand, but the hand is the bad guy who he's trying to fight. So wait, is Stick a good guy or a bad guy? And especially when you see the trailers right now for the Defenders, because he's like, you guys have to work together to stop them. It's like, wait, aren't you a part of the hand? What's going on? What are you doing really? It's like, so there's definitely like some kind of a deceivery going on. It's like
Double agent stuff.
yeah.
Well, maybe he doesn't know what's going on. You know, maybe he's in the meeting with the hand, and they're not saying that they're the hand, and they're like, oh yeah, so you're gonna go do this for us, right? And he's like, oh yeah, of course, you're not the hand, right? And they're like, no, and they're just all shaking heads yes to each other.
It's like business cards on the table that say the hand. It's like big sign on the freaking building, but he can't see it when he walks
He is
in.
blind.
Supervillain business card sounds like a great idea, to be honest.
Right?
I want to
That
get
would be
into
pretty
that
great.
business
Everyone has to promote themselves somehow, right?
somehow.
I need business cards.
You just put your rap sheet on it.
Right.
My name's John, henchman.
The henchiest henchman who ever henched.
So other shows.
Well, another thing that's coming out within this week, because Netflix doesn't just do shows, but they also do movies. And a movie coming out this week, which I'm pretty excited for, is Whatever Happened to Monday.
Oh yeah.
Which
Yeah, that
has
looks so good.
Amy Rapace from the Girl with Dragon Tattoo and Prometheus and everything. Willem Dafoe, Glenn Close. It's a pretty.
Oh, Netflix
pretty
is a big
decent-
fan of Willem Dafoe lately.
It's
huh?
true, yeah.
Boy
because
Willem
he's-
Dafoe.
He's in Death Note.
Yeah, he plays Ryuk in Death Note, which
Comes out next week.
Oh!
Which we'll touch upon that
Yeah.
momentarily, because we're all super excited about that.
Uh-huh.
But this movie, Whatever Happened to Monday, I think it's pretty interesting. It's in a futuristic world where we've populated the world so much that now we are limited to how many children we can have. Very much like what China's going through currently.
Kind of.
You know, kind of. But so the rule is, which Glenn Close's character seems like some kind of political figure, notifies that from now on, everyone can only have one child. If you have multiple children, they are sentenced to death. I was kind of very similar to that movie, The Giver. I don't know if everyone saw that. With,
Yeah.
They're just like killing people left and right and pretending it's like all mercy and like
Yeah,
that they're just
exactly.
sending them to another
In this one,
place.
it seems like in
Yeah.
this movie, they're very straight up. It's like, you had a second kid, we're taking that kid, you know the rules.
You messed
Bada
up.
boom.
Right.
Sucks for you.
So-
yeah.
Someone ends up having 7 children, and
Whoops.
Willem Dafoe takes it upon himself to hide these children.
You mean like septuplets, right?
Yes.
Septuplets, yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
like born all at once.
Yeah.
Pretty intense. That would suck.
That's crazy.
That
Yeah.
would be
Yeah.
unfortunate.
You try for one kid and you get 7.
Yeah, in this world, it's probably not the best thing to do.
Just eeny,
No.
meeny,
Yeah.
miny, mo, or what?
Before we even get any further into this, I'd say like if they seem like they're decently enough into the future, and like when you see some of the technology that's happening in this movie, it's like they seem kind of advanced.
Yeah.
They couldn't be advanced enough to see inside the person's tummy and see like, all right, I see you have multiple children in there. I'm just gonna take care of this now.
Maybe it was a sneaky
You
one.
know, maybe.
Maybe it was like, I never went to see the doctor because I
haven't seen
knew
the-
bad things were going to happen.
But from what I've seen in the trailer, they look like they're in a hospital.
I mean,
Well,
I
there's
think
like a maternity ward.
Yeah.
and
No,
But I
there
mean,
is.
like, once it's time to give birth to 7 babies,
I
it's
feel
probably
like
best
at
to do
that
it in a
point you
hospital.
would know.
Kinda
I
know
don't
you
think
didn't have
that
just
the-
one, yeah.
Yeah, someone's going to the hospital over and over again to check on these things. I'm going to that. There's so many stipulations we don't know about, but I'm thinking like everything went according to plan.
Mhm.
You know, so you were going to the doctors ahead of time, You know, you knew you were this many weeks pregnant. It's like, they should have had some technology that's like, we're going to just extract these 6 eggs and leave you with the one.
Yeah.
So that way
Yeah.
everything evens out. And you don't have to have that feeling of guilt of like, we just killed a baby.
Right.
You know, we're
Yeah.
killing a child. It's like, why go through that process?
Yeah.
You know? It could have been much simpler. But for some reason, they don't do that because then you lose the story, of course.
Right.
But in any case, the 7 children are named after each day of the week. And then within that, that's the day of the week they get to go out
And
and,
live.
And
live this
person,
one
yeah.
person. They all live the life of this one person.
Yeah.
And so eventually one of them gets caught and is taken. So the other 6 take it upon themselves to try to find a way to find and save their sister. And it's interesting that each of them has their own special, like, I don't want to say ability, but something that they cater and that they're really
Their
good at.
skills.
Yeah, their
Interesting,
skills,
yeah.
exactly.
I've acquired a set of skills.
They're not just
Yeah.
clothes.
So
The 6 of us, we can figure out anything. We will find our sister.
You know what it kind of
Yeah.
reminds me of is, did any of you ever read Calvin and Hobbes?
Yeah.
Back in
Oh,
the day
yeah.
when he had the
Definitely.
duplicator or
Yeah,
whatever?
yeah, yeah.
There was this whole
Clone himself.
storyline where he had like a duplicator and he duplicated himself like a certain number of times so he would never have to go to school.
Yeah.
So they would each take a day where they had to go to school, and of course all of the others are exactly like him, so it didn't work out. No, it sounds really interesting.
It does. Spoiler
Yeah.
alert, the one that gets, I mean, I'm assuming just from the title that the one that goes missing is Monday.
Yeah.
Just, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. In case you didn't know, guys.
In case you didn't know from the title, in case you
Monday
hadn't put
gets
that
taken.
together.
Yeah. And of course, like Glenn Close's character and the government finds out about this, and like now they're like, okay, we got to find out what's up with these sisters and take them out and all this stuff, and it becomes this huge like manhunt of sorts. But it looks like super
Pretty
freaking
good,
cool.
yeah.
Like the whole idea is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it definitely plays upon like I was talking before, like Orphan Black. I even watched that. It kind of has that feel to it. You know, each girl's going to have her own very unique personality while still having to be very duplicit and live this other life.
Yeah, you still have to be the one. All of you have to be that
Yeah.
one person.
Which I imagine like there must be like one goes out, and when they come home, they must have to then debrief.
Right.
And tell
Yeah.
everyone,
Sure,
like,
yeah,
so this
yeah.
is what I
Make
went
it
through the
work.
day. This and that. Here are my notes. Copy them, memorize them. You are now this person tomorrow.
Right.
Like that whole idea seems crazy. It's like imagine like they're probably within like their late 20s, early 30s by the time you see them as Numi Rapace's persona. And it's like that's a lot of years to have to just be double studying because you're studying
Right.
regular things, just live in
Right.
the world, and then to learn every day you're learning something new.
Yeah, but you have 6 study partners.
They just all, I mean, they would all just have to educate each other. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because they all got to go to school once a week.
Yeah.
Or even like Saturday and Sunday didn't get to go to school
Yeah.
at all, presumably.
That's like a
so,
crazy,
Yeah, really.
crazy way of learning.
yeah.
You know,
that's
it's like
pretty
a game of
crazy.
telephone.
You
Yeah.
learn at school and then you come home and teach the other siblings.
You are the home
Yeah.
teacher.
It'd be interesting.
You know what I'm thinking though? Something. This is reminding me of the movie about the magicians, The Prestige.
Oh, I love that
yeah.
movie.
One of them loses a finger, so does the other one.
Yeah, and like I saw a second trailer where it kind of hints towards something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah,
Like I
so
think
what
like one of them
happens
has a
to
scar, and it's like, well, now you all need a scar.
It's like what happens to one of you happens to all of you kind of
Yeah.
situation. It's like, oh snap.
Yeah,
Everybody
for-
very careful.
It's crazy,
Don't play with sharp objects.
man. And like with one being taken, the other ones can't really. They can't
can't
really
go-
leave.
no, they
so
can't.
everything they do has
Yeah.
to be in the shadows.
Yeah. That sounds. It sounds like a really cool concept for a show.
Mhm.
I think
But-
that was just
or
a
movie.
though,
You said it was a movie.
Yeah, it's a movie,
Okay, yeah. I'm excited to watch it.
Yeah.
It
If
sounds
they-
really good.
I would say if they did do a show, it would. I could see already like how they would have named every episode. So it would have been named after the days,
Yeah.
and that's it.
Yeah, really.
There you go.
Boom. Start of that.
Plot twist.
You're welcome.
Thursday is about Tuesday again.
Bum, bum, bum.
But going back to Willem Dafoe, getting the mad parts.
Oh my god.
Death Note next week.
Death Note.
Now this has been getting mixed reviews, but
Excited.
because I'm personally excited. Honestly, like I never get bothered by the
Yeah.
oh well this is an American version, this is a Japanese version. I don't
Yeah,
care.
it's
I just want to
stupid.
see all of it.
I mean, it's when you watch the trailer, it's clearly not meant to be a direct adaptation, just putting him in an American high school instead. Like,
Yeah.
clearly they're taking a lot of, like, I guess liberties isn't really the right word, but they're taking the concept and the overall idea and going a totally new direction with it. that's what I'm excited about. Like, yeah, it could end up kind of like Dragon Ball Evolution.
Oh no!
What? I know, we're praying it doesn't.
I will become Monday if that happens.
Oh, whatever happened to cheese?
But
A rope and a branch.
I'm super excited to see what they do with it, and I'm super excited to see William Dafoe as Reich. That was my favorite part of the trailer. Like, oh my god,
Fist.
he looks like he's gonna be so good at it. I'm so excited for it.
Rio looks really good. Like, he looks like
He looks
on
perfect.
point.
Yeah.
And his voice, like, I've always loved Willem Dafoe's voice. So when he played Green Goblin in
Yeah.
Spider-Man, he didn't look cool, but he sounded amazing.
He sounded perfect for
He
it.
sounded exactly like the Green Goblin in my mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, so some people who maybe don't know much about Death Note,
Me.
it's like
Like
Chase.
Chase.
You know, we have different levels of us here. Like, I've watched the cartoon and seen the live action films that were made in Japan, and even as of 2015, it actually had a live action TV series too, which was like a mini series.
Oh, interesting.
So it's not the first TV series to come out for this.
Right.
But before all that, there was a manga in which we have Natalie and Eleni.
Yep.
Can explain that to us.
Yeah.
How much did that differ from the cartoon, if at all?
You watched the whole anime, right?
Yeah, it's been a while, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's they were both. To be honest, it's one of the few. I tend to prefer always the manga to
me
the
too.
anime, but it's one of the few series where, like, there might have been differences, but I thoroughly enjoyed both.
Yeah, like there was a couple. There was at least one scene I can think that they added that. Usually, when an anime adds a scene that's not in the manga, it's something weird and like filler and dumb. Looking at you, One Piece anime.
Called you out.
That just describes the whole series, though.
But there was like one scene with Light and L that. Do you know the scene I'm talking about where he's
Which
washing
one?
his feet?
Oh.
It was like a weird
remember that
scene,
scene.
but it was really good, and it was like totally not like weird to have it in there at all. Like it made it really good. I really liked it, and I was mentioning earlier, like talking to you, George, that the ending of the manga and anime was different, and I very much prefer the manga, but I've talked to people who really prefer the anime. Do you remember what I'm talking
Prepare
about?
for spoilers.
Yeah.
Death Note was the first manga that I ever read.
Uh-huh.
I haven't gone back to it, so no, I'm not actually remembering.
So the main difference, wow, I'm gonna get like really spoiler heavy right now, but
Spread it on.
yeah, I mean this is for the ones that came out like a while ago, but
And this might not even coincide with what happens in the
right,
show. It could be
exactly,
very
it could be
different.
totally
Because the
different.
movie ended very differently.
Yeah, and that's you're gonna have to tell me about that because I don't know how
I
the
haven't
movie
seen the
ended.
movie
But
one.
basically, what it comes down to in both the anime and the manga is there's this team that has been after Kira is the name that Light, the main character, uses to kind of do all of his like killing. That's what the world knows him as is
Kira.
Kira.
And how, just for people who don't know, like, how does he do the killing specifically?
Oh,
How
it's
does
with
Death
the
Note work?
notebook. He has a notebook that was given to him by a death god. That's Ryuk that we were talking about. And if you write anyone's name in the notebook, they'll die. And there's all these extra rules to it where, like, if all you do is write their name, they'll just die with from a heart attack within 40 seconds. But you can put all these extra rules and everything in there. But basically, the way that Light does it is he does it in a way where he makes it look like people are being punished by a god for their crimes and everything. And his original goal is to rid the world of crime by basically threatening everyone into you have to be good or Kira will get
die,
you.
yeah.
And then because he is doing all these things to try to protect his identity and go through all this, and there's like so many different complications. Like his dad is the police officer who's after him, and then there's the I don't even know if you could really call him a detective because he's so much more than that.
L.
He goes by L. Is after him and he's so smart he's basically figured it out, so the whole thing is basically genius versus genius. Anyway, this team that has been working for years and years and years to catch him finally sort of like identifies him, and they have a little bit of like a face-off in like a warehouse somewhere. And Ryuk has told Light from the beginning, when you die, I'm going to be the one to write your name in the book. And then finally, Ryuk decides, you don't have a way out of this, and I don't want to deal with this anymore, so I'm going to write your name in the book, and you're going to die right now. Because he doesn't want to stick around with someone, like, because he's kind of tied to the book. He doesn't want to stick around someone who's just going to be rotting in a jail cell for the rest of his life. He's like, that sounds boring. Literally.
Yeah, Ryuk is very much like a trickster of sorts, and he's it all starts because he's bored.
Yeah,
that's why he drops
the
the
whole
book
thing
down
started because
and
he's bored. He kind of reminds me of like a Puck character from
Yes,
A Midsummer Night's
exactly.
Dream.
Yes,
The
yeah.
Death God
Exactly
version
what
of
he's like.
Puck. Yeah, it's super
Death
cool.
Puck.
I gotta say, I'm kind of glad that there aren't actual death gods who just get bored and decide to just mess with
we don't
humanity.
really know that there's
That's true. That's true. It could be, but
Think
you
about
know.
all the wars.
All those books I've got.
But so he decides, like, Light, there's no way, you don't have any way out of this. They clearly have you caught from every angle. You can't get out of this, and I don't want to stick around while you're in jail, so I'm gonna basically kill you right now, and writes his name in the book. Once the name's in the book, there's nothing you can do to reverse it. And then that's where kind of the difference happens between the comic and the cartoon is in both of them, Light freaks out. In the cartoon, he actually
Majorly.
runs away and dies by himself on a stairwell with no one around.
Almost kind of anticlimactically.
Sort
Yeah,
of
it is
anticlimactically, and then in the other one, he's like screaming at Ryuk, like saying like there has to be a way to reverse it, and he's like, you should know better than anyone. There's no way to reverse anything in this notebook, and he's basically like screaming and having a meltdown in front of all these people who have been working for so long to try to catch him, and then he just dies right in front of them, like a common criminal that he's been punishing
Yeah.
all these years. And I've talked to a fair amount of people, and they all kind of liked the idea of him kind of basically showing his cowardice and running away and then dying alone in the anime. But I'm totally about him basically coming apart in front of these people. That's what, like, it was such a build-up, and the Ryuk is such like an integral part of the last scene because he's there and he's just like, he's got that same big creepy grin that he always has, and he just writes his name and is like, you did this to yourself, Light.
No,
and
he
it's like
absolutely did, yeah.
it adds a lot of like kind of like depth and like power like to the scene, sort of, because it's so like he's totally powerless and he's showing it in front of all these people. I really prefer
That one
the
sounds
manga, and
No,
that's what
I
I yeah. How did it end in the movies?
In the movie, it's kind of like the anime,
Mm-hmm.
but a little off. Like, so near the end, L, because in the first one, in the anime and in the manga, which is probably L dies
Yeah.
Like
because
midway through,
Light kills him.
right?
In the movie, he fakes his death, but still through that way that Light uses the book.
Mm-hmm.
And if I remember correctly, what happens is they switch the books.
There's a couple
So-
notebooks actually.
Yeah, which we haven't mentioned, but like there's like
Mm-hmm.
so there's obviously the book that from another death god, but
Mm-hmm.
then there's the fake book, which I think they introduced in the anime.
I think they had some fake notebooks. They had some fake rules in one of the notebooks to throw one of L's potential successors off.
Yeah,
So there was a lot of like it's almost hard to remember how many different fake things happened because
There's a lot of
it was
double
such a
crossery.
mind game the
Yeah.
whole time.
Yeah.
and that's what kind of happens here. So like L survives in the
Mm-hmm.
movie, and he fakes his death, and then they catch Light at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Very much like, haha, I got you. You got foolified. And and Light's just there like, oh, no one can see what I'm doing. I'm being like very cocky right now. But he has this cocky stance of like, how did you catch me? This is not right. And then he kind of loses it a bit, but it's not enough.
It's
not
nowhere near the
Yeah.
anime.
Yeah, like when you talk about the book
Freaking
thing
out.
earlier, I was like, that sounds like a
I would
way
actually-
better
That's
ending.
pretty
Yeah.
awesome.
At least
yeah.
go back and reread like the last couple chapters of the manga, because it's like the way it's drawn, and he's such a good artist. Like that writer and
Yeah.
artist pair like are so good. It's super intense, and it's like really satisfying because through the whole time you're sort of like you're rooting for Light because he's technically the protagonist, but he's also the antagonist of the whole thing. And it's just gotten to a point where it's like you're just like stoked for the team, like you want him to be taken down, and he gets taken down so hard, and it's not even hardly, I mean, it's sort of like their fault because they're the ones who caught him.
Yeah.
But to see him fall to his own thing is, and then have a meltdown about it, and then just die on the floor in front of all of them
Yeah.
is incredibly satisfying.
I was just gonna say satisfying.
Because
Yeah.
he's a very, like, through the whole story, like you mentioned the thing of power, and like he exudes power a lot through the whole story, and like he's very confident. Like once he has this book and he has full control, it's like that's the thing, he has power and control, and he shows that all the way through. You know, like even like when they're kind of close to getting him, because there's those moments where Elle
Yeah.
almost got close,
Yeah.
but he found a way, and like he's so cocky, and everything about it's like nothing can stop him, nothing can hurt him. He knows everything 10 steps ahead of time, and to hear that, like there's this moment where he's just like, no.
Basically,
Yeah.
that's
You
100%
know?
No, I
what
mean-
it's like, which is why I was like, oh my god,
Yeah,
this
it's
is
like
amazing.
that's gratifying.
He
So
has-
And
it
the
flips
anime
it.
took it from
Yeah,
me.
they did.
Because he just ran away and died quietly on his
I
funeral by
mean-
himself, and I'm like, why should he get to have that moment of quiet? Like, yeah, he's running like a coward,
But I want
It's not the same.
everyone to
He-
see it.
He
you know
had
what
the
I mean?
mother of all god complexes. It's just
Yeah.
He was like, and it's really satisfying. I'm gonna sound maybe terrible here, but it's just really satisfying to watch someone who thinks that they're a god fall to their own.
Oh,
like,
no, totally.
Yeah, no, it's great.
And even for the character, it shows depth too. Like to see that let's say that was acted out.
Yeah.
That's way more challenging for the actor to even pull off. As
That would be
opposed to doing
insane
this
for
one
an
note
actor.
for the whole
Right.
thing. This one death note. Did it?
Idle drop.
Yeah.
Well played, good sir.
All of that being said, I am excited for whatever Netflix, like, because clearly they're already going a very different direction with Elle already. Because he's out in front of the public and he has his face covered, but that was not something he ever did
No.
in the comic or the TV show. He was like hidden the whole time. He was like this weird little guy that ate a bunch of like cakes and
Yeah,
stuff.
those
Sweets.
sweets.
He
Yeah.
was always
Sat on
eating
his chair with
sweets.
his feet up.
I like
Yeah,
this
which
scene.
he
Always
still
barefoot.
does. He
Oh,
still
yeah.
does.
But it's
Yeah.
a big thing in Death Note too, because
It is.
Ryuk loves his
Chips.
apples.
Oh yeah.
You know,
The chips
I'll
they
always
eat.
eat it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you love these characters, Chase. They're right up your alley.
Sounds like
Yeah,
I
And
love
you're
the
being
food.
obsessed with candy.
Yeah.
man.
One of the cool things about Death Note is it's that thing that's never gonna get old. Like it's never gonna be like dated or anything because nothing else has been like Death Note that I can think
Not
of.
that I can think of.
No,
Yeah, that's
not
true.
really. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
really
it can definitely. I think it can grow with time. With anything.
Definitely.
The other thing, Death Note, I think it's probably because of just the strong character writing, and, you know, it's a very original idea for, you know, I mean, I guess that there have been people talking about, like, the Grim Reaper having a book or whatever that he uses to has his list that he goes and hunts people down to, when it's their time to go, but it's just like it's a really original, interesting idea. But on the other hand, the characters it's so interesting because it's like you're rooting for Moriarty in a battle of
Yeah.
Moriarty versus Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah.
And
Which
it's
I
just
totally
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's an interesting show.
And the visual designs of all the characters and the death gods especially, since there's Ryuk and there's I mean, there's times where you can see the other ones in their like death god realm.
Oh yeah.
But there's a couple others that get like involved with stuff and they're really amazing designs and just the complexity of all the mind games that everyone is basically playing with each other. Mostly Light versus Elle and
Yeah.
then his successors, Mello and Nier, which go by M and N respectively.
You see what they're doing there. Alphabet
Yeah.
names.
Yeah.
It's
Who
pretty
is
incredible.
Who was K?
Okay.
It
wanna
wasn't
know the-
special enough.
I want to know the Special K, though.
Yeah.
I want to know the story about Special K.
You can be
Yeah.
Special K.
Would that have been like the one who groomed L?
It,
I don't know. I
There's
don't remember
a-
hearing about other letters, but maybe you do.
I think there were a couple episodes in the anime that I missed or just have no memory of, but there's like an orphanage
Yeah.
that L was from, that Mello and Nier are also from.
Yeah.
And it seems to be that kind of thing where it's like everyone there is like ridiculously smart.
Super.
They almost have
gifted.
this like
Yeah.
autisticness about
It's-
them too, because like you can
Yeah.
see like their
Their characters,
Their habits
they're
are very
yeah, they have habits.
exactly.
It's kind of like Xavier's school, but for like slightly awkward, really brilliant children.
Children with Asperger's. And,
Yes, really
autism.
intelligent children.
I mean, Nier has a lot of the same visual habits that L does. Like,
Yeah.
he doesn't have the sweets
Yeah.
thing, but he's always building toys.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
He's
Mello
always crouching.
chocolate all the time.
Yeah, Mello ate chocolate all the time, but Mello was really different from both L and Nier, and it was kind of cool. I don't like Mello as a person, but as a character, he was really cool.
I mean, and it's the thing with. I think that's why people really didn't like Nier very much. Nier's not a very popular character, is because people are just like, oh, well, he's just a less good version of
Yeah.
L.
Yeah, he definitely did seem like L light,
He was
whereas
a little
Mello
flat,
was
yeah.
really like hot-headed and
Crazy and ridiculous.
had like a
yeah.
gang that hung out with him and stuff like that.
Yeah.
What was
awesome.
the name of the alter ego for Light? Was it Kira?
Kira?
Yeah.
Kira,
Is
yeah.
that spelled with a K?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
Oh,
just
that's
special
right.
K.
Kira's K.
He was the special one.
Oh, wait, what's the search
I
for
don't
K? I don't know what that's about. What's that about, Chase?
Yeah,
Why
why-
are you searching for K?
I don't know. I got questions. Where's Q?
Where's Q? I believe Q is in 007.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Another great.
And Star
Great
Trek,
letter.
actually.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
The Next Generation.
Trek.
Star Trek.
yeah.
Q was from Star Trek was very much like a Puck character.
Mm-hmm.
Just thinking about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it goes to like Netflix is just within these 2 weeks coming. It's like it is doing amazing,
Yeah.
and they've come a long way, and it's just that they're going forward with even more better things. Like October, I'm pretty sure we're all pretty stoked for Stranger Things.
Uh-huh.
You know, season 1 was ridiculous. Anyone who hasn't seen it, Natalie, you got to watch
I'm
Stranger
sorry.
Things.
It's
What
on my
are you
list.
doing with your life?
I've
It's on the
watched
never-ending
some of
list.
the episodes, and it's totally like I'm all about that overall aesthetic. You know what I mean? It
Yeah.
feels like watching Super 8, but not aliens.
Yeah. Yeah, it
But
has
still-
it's that Amberlin,
yeah.
like Steven
Yeah.
Spielberg, 1980s
Totally.
kind of feel.
I
You know,
love that.
Group of kids, just
Mhm.
little underdogs fighting the bad guy, whatever it is, alien
Mhm.
monsters, another world.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I love it so much. I can't wait for season 2.
Mm-hmm.
Now it seems like there's gonna be this big freaking monster, like kaiju status.
Oh my
Right.
god.
I've seen the trailer like probably 1,000 times. Every time I see it, it's like, oh, what's gonna happen? That the whole world is engulfed in a big monster.
It's like, what was that movie, The Mist?
Yeah.
There was like another dimension that.
Like see
Got
clear.
opened up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I keep thinking of every time I see that. I'm like, oh snap.
Yeah, especially like the Mist with Tom Jane, and like and they finally leave that supermarket, and you see that giant foot come through the clouds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's like, oh my god, we've been seeing little dinky monsters come into the supermarket, while the whole time there's been bigger beasts outside.
Yeah.
They're lucky it never stepped on the market.
They thought they were safe the whole time. What if they weren't though?
Stranger Things as a whole kind of has like a little bit of like a Stephen King vibe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it kind of reminds me like if you crossed something like The Mist with oh my god, I'm blanking on the name of that story. It's not even really a horror story. It's the
Stand
one where
by me.
Yeah, that's the one where they're going to find the body,
Yeah,
right?
that's
Stand by Me. Yeah.
It's loosely inspired by that.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's great about that show is that there's so many 80s references. You know, it's everything like from you see it in the posters, whether it's in the storyline, you know, and they're keeping that going with this one. You see the kids wearing the Ghostbusters gear and stuff like that. It's like, oh, I love it. It's like I'm reliving my childhood watching this show.
Except for the Demogorgon or whatever that thing is called.
Ooh, the Demogorgon. We all fight the Demogorgon. I'm Toothless. That's my boy. I want him to I want to do something super amazing because I feel like he tried to be amazing because I'm being held back because the other kid. I don't remember any of their names. Because I enjoyed it so much, but I'll never care that much for anything I watch because I don't care about names. But certain things just stuck out. 11 and Toothless.
Yep. Totally forget the others' names. I think there was like a Mike, maybe a Billy.
Sure. I don't know.
The name Dylan is coming to mind. I could be wrong.
For some reason, like with things that I love, I think the more I like it, the less of a chance there is of me remembering the names of anything. I don't know why it works like that. But it does. Like I've almost finished watching the whole series of like Teen Wolf recently on MTV, and I probably can't tell you anyone's name. I just watched an episode last night. Oh no.
So funny.
Yeah.
I'm kind of in the same boat. I'm watching the Handmaid's Tale or the Handmaid's Tale.
Oh yeah.
On Hulu. I don't know any of their names. I'm on episode 9.
Like, was it a good show?
Yeah, it's a good show. I don't know their names. Oh boy, I just realized that.
It's weird how that
That's
works.
pretty.
It's so weird.
You just know what they look like, and you're like, oh, that character.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, it's that one again.
I guess I kind of have that too, but it's like when I'm watching a thing, it's because I make up my own name for them in my head, and they just go by like a nickname. Like I can't think of any examples, but I just that's my tendency. But that's because I'm bad with names. Just in general, just in life.
Yeah, no, I can't even. Well, it's not bad here because there's only like 10 of us, but at my
Not even.
old workplace, I didn't know anyone's name, and I worked there for like 2 years.
Oh yeah, 'cause it was like retail, yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm not good with names either. But
At least in a lot of retail, you have name tags so you can pretend like you know their name. But-
No, I'm not looking at your chest. I'm reading.
And no, I'm not reading because I forgot your name. I just saw it, so I read it.
I just was wondering how you spelled that. You know, seeing some different.
So I'm curious, what's with everything that Netflix has been bringing out? What's been like a standout thing for everyone that's made you like really like I know for me like every time I'm watching, it's like I'm gonna give every Netflix show or movie a chance. You know,
Oh, definitely.
like from things like I've watched not just like we've been talking about horror sci-fi related things, but there's other things like The Get Down and House of Cards. You know, Orange is the New Black. Like there's so many things that they provide that they're all amazing. They're all great. So I'm just curious, like what was the show or the movie that really like it's like hooked you in? You're like, all right, I'm in it. Give me you got Netflix.
For me, it might have been Stranger Things. Like, or I'm trying to think which one came out. There was like Stranger Things, The Get Down, and Daredevil. Like, which of those?
It was Daredevil, Stranger Things, I'm gonna Get Down.
Those three for me. I was
That's
like,
the order.
okay, I like Netflix. It's not.
It took like 2-3 years, and Chase is like, all right, you've proven yourself. It took 3 years, but I trust you now.
Because for the most part, I'd go
High
on and
standards.
like try to find like horror movies and stuff, and I want to
Yeah.
stream them. I don't want to wait for it to come in the mail, and then I have to mail it back out, and then wait for the other ones on the list. Like, no, I just want to click, here it is. And so like I'll look for horror movies. There's like 1 or 2 that are like, hey, this is a legitimate horror movie, and then there's like 38 that are like, you've never heard of this, and here's why. Hit play.
No, it does tend to
That
get
is
that way.
one of my favorite things to do on Netflix, though, is put on really bad horror.
Yes.
Watch it with my girlfriend.
Wonderful
and
B movies.
ripping it apart the whole time. That's
Although, there's a few in there that are like,
there's a few that are good.
it's
They
like
just
things you've never
added-
heard of, and it's
yeah.
a movie. It's like, this is actually a really good horror movie. How did I never hear of this?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
confusing.
That's how I first discovered. What was it? John dies at the end. Because I saw it on Netflix, and I was like, "This is really good. Like, why is this not being pushed a little more than usual?"
They just added back, I think, in preparation for Halloween, a bunch of like classic ones, though.
Oh, yeah,
Like
they
Nightmare
put-
on Elm Street is back on again. Yeah, they just added
it
it
always
back on.
boggles my mind how they don't have the whole series
Yeah,
on
They'll
there.
just have like number 3.
That
Why?
makes me
That's
so
the weird
mad.
thing.
Yeah.
This one is thankfully the original, but then once I watch the original, then I'm like, oh, I want to watch Freddy's Revenge. I want to watch Dream Warriors. Like, I want to watch the whole thing. But they only have like the one and then like a random later one. I wish that they would put more of like originals on there too.
They put American Werewolf in London up.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
I just saw that the other day and I was like, oh,
yeah,
I
they
watch
just put that one back up.
That's actually the first time I saw it was on Netflix. I didn't see it growing up, so I saw it like.
You were deprived.
Yeah, when they first threw it up on Netflix, or when I first saw it, can't remember how long ago it was, like months ago, but saw it
So
on
I'm
there
just
and I
behind.
watched it. I was like, oh, there it is. Okay, now I
So
see.
praise the Netflix for giving Chase the chance to watch.
Hello.
Yeah.
How about you, Nat?
I think the show that was really just like, wow, Netflix makes good shows for me was just Daredevil. It was really good. Although currently I'm really enjoying like their anime that they've been putting up. Like Little Witch Academia is just like disgustingly too good for what it is. It looks like this really terrible show for kids, and then it's actually really good, and it has no business being that good.
No, that's just true. Like I totally forget they've been doing a lot of cartoon and animated
totally.
stuff. Because like I've been watching the Seven Sins.
That was so good. Seven Deadly
I did not
Sins.
expect it to be as good as
They
it
have a
is.
lot of good anime on there, actually.
Yeah.
They have a bunch, like Agent and Knights of Sidonia and everything, by Nihei, and those are really good. They put Castlevania
Haven't seen that one
up
yet.
recently.
I still have to watch that.
It's
on
only
my
4
list.
episodes long, so it'll literally take you an hour and a half to watch, but it's really good.
Yeah.
You watched it, right,
Yep.
Chase?
I watched it all in one sitting.
Yeah.
I didn't realize
I
that
was
was all there would be.
upset, actually. I didn't realize there were only 4 episodes. And then it stopped and went back to the thing, and I was like, but where's the rest? Because it's clearly not done. Because it's clearly just getting started, but it's so good.
I actually watched Seven Deadly Sins in one sitting.
Yeah.
It took me like
likewise.
5 hours, but it was worth it.
It was like one of those things, like I was about to get up to go get some food. I was like, because I just do that, like in between. It's like, the next one's about to play, so I'm like, okay, so I've got like X amount of seconds,
Yeah.
plus the recap of the last episode.
Right.
So I'm gonna go throw something in the microwave real quick. I'm gonna get some ice cream. So I'm about to get up and going, and I look at the screen. It's like another show. I was like, no.
Yeah. That's what it did to me, too. And I was like, what are you doing? Go back.
It's Castlevania, not that.
Netflix must be glitching.
What are
right
you
now.
doing?
Right. That's what I legitimately thought was happening, and then I looked and I was like, that's 4. Where's
5?
the rest? Can I have it, please? Because it's really good. It looks amazing. The animation is incredible. Like, I watched it and got mad about Berserk. Like, I'm mad about Berserk right now because it could look this good, and it doesn't.
I think everyone's mad about Berserk, though.
Yeah, but this made me extra mad.
Yeah, man. Oh, keep that in mind.
But no, it's really good. So I definitely recommend that.
Hey, you haven't seen it yet?
No, this is where I've been slacking. I didn't watch Castlevania because I'm watching all the other shows for you guys.
Watching all the Marvel shows.
All right, you watch Iron
Watch
Fist
all
for
that.
me. I'll watch Castlevania for you.
Can we make the trade? I don't want to watch Iron Fist anymore.
I don't think I
I don't
want
want to. I'm kind of sad. Like eventually there might be a season 2, and I'm gonna have to watch it.
It's
I'll
terrible.
watch Iron Fist seasons 1 and 2, or no, just season 2.
I wouldn't
You
wish that
don't-
upon anybody.
Like, it's terrible how that happens because like that storyline ties in with the other storylines.
Yeah.
You have
It's
to
like once
kinda-
you watch the first season or once you watch the other shows that tie in with it, it's like, well, now I have to.
No,
Yeah.
that's what Wikipedia is for. That is what
Just read the
looking
plot
up
synopsis.
What happened on the internet is for.
Yes, true. But I like being that person who watches like right as it comes out because I want to
Yeah.
find all the little Easter eggs myself.
That's fair.
You know, I'm huge on that Easter egg find. It makes me very happy. Like,
Oh, I totally found that. Didn't
That's
know
true.
else caught that
After
little thing
every
right there.
movie, like over the weekend, you come back and you're just like, I saw all the Easter eggs.
I'm a little kid when I see that. It gets me super excited.
And
Even
then
though
there's
it's
a
really
reason they call it
crappy.
Easter eggs.
yeah, like I get to say like it's relative. The Iron Fist situation is relative. Like watching the CW shows. It's like Arrow's okay, Flash is amazing. It's like, well, now I gotta watch Supergirl and Legends of Tomorrow to make sure that I'm on point with everything else. God damn it.
You
Which
did
is
it to
too
yourself.
bad because there's really good things that could happen in both those shows, but
Don't.
they just don't care to do it. Yeah, that's what it brings me to watching Iron Fist. But at least Iron Fist is just one show and not 2 other shows. So, like, what's something that Netflix provided for you to make you a fan?
Well, I guess the first, like a lot of people, the first Netflix exclusive show I watched was Orange is the New Black. I watched the first 2 seasons of that, and that was really good. And I haven't watched it since because I've heard kind of like mixed reviews on it since. But I really liked it. But the one that like really sort of like hooked me immediately was actually Voltron, which like we were just talking about is another one of like the cartoons and everything that they're kind of coming out with that they're doing on their own. And it's done by Lauren Montgomery, who did Avatar: The Last Airbender and Legend of Korra.
Oh, I love me some Avatar.
And oh my god, I'm blanking on his name. Joaquim Dos Santos, who did the Justice League cartoon, Justice League and Justice League Unlimited.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
So those are the 2 like I feel like kind of main showrunners of it, and
Nice name drops.
Here I am saying I'm bad with names, and then I
Right?
pull those 2
Seriously.
out. Those are the only 2 I got.
Remember the characters, but this person?
yeah. I watched that like right when it first kind of came out. And it's funny because the first episode is actually like an hour long and the rest are all 22 minutes, like most cartoons. And it's funny because it sets the stage for the entire thing in literally an hour, and everything happens so fast and is so intense. Like, they're not wasting, they could have easily, if they wanted to, if it was an anime, taken a full season to do everything they do in episode 1. But they just crammed it in, and they're just like, we're just going to do this right now and move on to the rest of it, which was a little bit jarring to watch at first because I was like sitting there like, what is happening right now? This is so fast. But it's really, really good. The 3rd season just came out, and it seems like what they're doing now is they're doing like, instead of waiting like a year and a half and doing a 14 episode season, they're doing every few months like 6 or 7 episodes.
Oh, that's cool.
Because actually no one knew when season 3 was coming out until Comic-Con, and they were like, it's happening August 13th. And I was like, this August 13th? Like, in like a month? Really? Like, it was kind of a shock. Like, no one really knew. And then it came out. It was only 7 episodes long. I was kind of bummed about that. But season 4 is happening in October, so I only have to wait like 3 months for it,
Nice.
which is kind of cool. But that's how I know has a pretty big following. There's a lot of fans of New Voltron.
Yeah, like I said, that's not one of those things I'm behind on. One of my good friends, he's always like, why the hell? And I'm using the word hell instead of another word. But it's like, have you not been watching Voltron? It's
That's
like,
a fair
you grew
question.
up watching Voltron. You told me how much you love Voltron, and you had supposedly this big figure made out of metal of Voltron, which I did. We all did in the 80s, because back then everything was made out of metal, not plastic.
We went over that.
And he's like, why have you not been watching this goddamn show?
It's really
And
good.
it's like, I don't know. I don't know why I'm not watching it, but I should. I should be watching
Yeah,
it. I'm going
you
to put it on my
should be.
queue.
It's definitely one of those shows that like younger sort of like kids like could enjoy it, but as like
But
an
badass
adult,
adults like us.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's something that they kind of got like some freedom for being on Netflix and not having to go along with whatever like Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network or any other like TV station has to set, where it's like because I never watched Avatar, and I watched part of Korra, and I couldn't get into it because so many of like the jokes and humor were just like, I was tired by it because it was clearly just for like, and there's a little bit of that in Voltron, but it definitely is sort of like, I feel like emotionally mature enough where it's like the characters are really good characters, and they definitely kind of like hook you and grab you. And I never watched any of the older Voltron series, but
Oh, well, you should.
I should. They actually do, now that Voltron is so popular, like their own series of Voltron is so popular, they have older ones that they're beginning to put
Oh,
on there.
sweet.
Yeah.
So that's what I'll watch
Yeah.
some classic Ultron and some brand new Ultron
Yeah.
together.
Yeah. So that's what I'm kind of hooked on right now.
So I think for me, I was the same as you. Like I think I started watching Orange is the New Black.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was that, a mix of that and House of Cards. I
Yeah.
was watching those 2 shows, which, you know, Oddly enough, both of those things could be considered kind of like horror-like, in my opinion. Just more maybe House of Cards, because
I was gonna say like
you're wondering how, George? How can it be horror-like?
Yeah.
Because some scary ass shit happens in House of Cards. People die. It feels more like it's a political thriller. That's what I would consider it, like a political drama thriller.
I would say like suspense and thriller,
Yeah,
probably.
which lies in a sense of horror because
Yeah.
you need those elements, you know. And the main character played by Kevin Spacey, you don't mess with that dude. Dude is serious. Him and his wife, like Robin Wright. Robin Wright is phenomenal in House of Cards. There's a reason why she's winning awards.
Of it, yeah.
Yeah, it's like they're ridiculous. I think I want to say either the end of season 1 or like near the end. Kate Mara was in the show, and I'm pretty sure people have seen it. Like, there's been scenes where they make fun of it and everything. But he straight up pushes her into a train, and he was prior to that. She was his side piece. We're
All
like,
aboard.
yeah,
Damn.
and then he was just like, I don't need you anymore. Bam, peace.
Get
Bye.
dealt with.
Push off.
I guess that's one hell of a
Yeah,
breakup.
and then
isn't
he
it?
just walks off like nothing happened.
Oh,
Yeah, goes home, sees, and here's the best part.
that is pretty spooky.
Robin Wright's character knows about everything. They have no secrets. So she's like, is it done? He's like, yeah. He's like, I'm done with it. He's like, okay. And it's like she wants somebody, like, was it, you know, did you care for her? Or was it something else? Like, I was just using her for whatever. I'm done. Okay, cool. Smoke a cigarette. Let's go about our day. That's like, guys are cold-blooded. It's like they're practically like, it could be the Texas Chainsaw Massacre family. They're just in politics. I think if they wanted to eat people, they could easily fit that in there and it would be totally normal and cool with them.
Man.
It's like, whatever. Just having a side of human liver as I get this bill passed.
Play some opera music.
Yeah, put some
Some
music.
classical music.
Yeah.
But no,
Straight up
it
Hannibal Lecter.
is no joke. Seriousness. People just offing people
Okay, so
without a care.
what's the horror in the Orange is the New Black? Because I can think of
Crazy
like
Eyes.
there's
At least season 1, like first few episodes of Crazy Eyes. It was
Yeah.
like, what's Crazy Eyes gonna do? Like, is she really crazy? Is she gonna eat someone's face off? Of course, like now she's just this lovable character that I
Right.
can't get enough of.
yeah.
You know, maybe Orange is the New Black isn't so horrible.
Well,
It's just
there
hilarious.
is.
It could be scary though to be in prison.
I think it was in season 2. There was the one girl that the one guard like forced to overdose.
Mm.
That was a little bit
Yeah.
unsettling. But yeah, I don't know about horror.
Yeah, I could be stretching. I could be reaching.
It's
really
a little.
hard.
It's a little bit
It's a
of a
hard
stretch,
reach,
just
yeah.
a tiny bit.
What did Crazy Eyes threw some food? Was it cake or something?
Pie.
Pie. She's like,
the
I
horror
threw my
aspect.
pie for you. Or something like that, right? Like, I connected with her at that point. I was like,
Food was sacrificed in
Yeah.
your
there
name.
was food given.
Yeah.
She's right.
No, I will say in later seasons though, like probably like season 4 or something, Crazy Eyes ends up getting a girlfriend, and her girlfriend is possibly crazier than her.
Oh.
Yeah. And you said you only watched season 2 up to season 2, right?
I think so.
So I'm not probably gonna spoil
I don't
it.
think
I'm gonna
I
ruin
might have
something
watched.
for you.
That's fine.
So
I'm not one of those people that gets like super picky about spoilers.
good, because people die.
Wow.
No one dies in this part. But she gets a girlfriend, and the girlfriend's like super latched onto her, and she can't let her go. And she's taking her to like they end up as like escaping prison for like a moment. All of them, all of the inmates escape
Oh.
together at once because all hell is broken loose, and they
Uh-huh.
go for a swim. And the two of them like just go off into the forest, and they find like this little abandoned hut or house of sorts. And she takes her there, and she's like, "We're gonna stay here. We're gonna live together." And Crazy Eyes,
That's horror movie territory.
Exactly.
Yes, it is.
yeah, right there, it definitely is. And Crazy Eyes like, but like, what if we get caught? And like, she's still so innocent and so childlike, and she knows right or wrong still, you know,
Yeah.
to an extent, you know, and she knows this is wrong. It's like we can't we're out here having fun, but we got to go back, or we're screwed. You know,
Right.
They'll put us in the hole. I don't want to be in the hole. That's bad.
Yeah.
You know? That's like how she talks. She's like, no, we can do that. No, don't. It's wrong. I'm gonna go now. Goodbye. I still love you. Okay. And the other girl, like, she starts going crazy. She's like, no, you're supposed to be like me. You're mine. You don't love me. Blah. And she just goes all crazy. And then Crazy Eyes looking at her like, oh, bitch, you crazy. And
His
it's
little
just whole
yandere status.
they kind of like almost scuffle and everything, and the Crazy Eyes look scared.
Oh, boy.
Which is something, because when you go back to season 1, it's
Yeah.
like, what would scare her? You know,
Or, yeah,
she's the
for
terrifying one. So that could have been like that little moment of like, oh,
Yeah.
she's in danger. Like this is some like
Yeah.
serial killer moment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I could see that, especially if they're in a little abandoned cabin in the woods, because that
Yeah.
always goes
Someone else
well.
gets murdered in an abandoned
Yeah.
cabin.
Exactly.
I really need to get one of those.
Yeah. And stereotypically speaking, like Crazy Eyes is black, the girlfriend was white.
Yep.
Crazy Eyes would have died. Those
Yeah.
are the rules.
Yeah,
Well, not just that.
Keep
that's
people of color.
the
We gotta
rule
go
of get
first.
out. Yeah.
She would have been dinner.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
That's what happened. Yeah, Jeffrey Dahmer's test. Yeah.
Statistically speaking. Never pick up a hitchhiker.
Jeez. Chase. Can we talk about that?
Sure.
I don't know if Chase has told you guys, or if you follow Chase on his Twitter.
I
But-
don't actually.
But Chase
maybe I
picked up a
should.
hitchhiker the other day.
Are you kidding me?
It wasn't
Why
on,
would you do that?
It wasn't on purpose.
By accident.
Oh.
Was it?
How does that?
What the hell?
So, I was driving out to the ocean, and traffic was stopped up for some reason. It's never stopped in this area. Mm-hmm. It's like on Highway 116 heading towards Bodega.
Oh, that's weird.
And traffic was stopped, and then like an ambulance comes by me, and I was like, oh no, I'm not going anywhere. I'm gonna turn around and go back home and
Yeah.
enjoy my night. So I turn around, and I go and I pull off like by a side road, and there's like the little turnout spot and then the side road. So I'm not like in anyone's way, like cars can go in and out wherever.
Mm-hmm.
And so I pull over, I'm just texting, and I hear a little tap tap on my window. I look over, and there's this guy kind of like nodding, doing like a thumbs up kind of thing. I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm okay, I'm cool. Yeah, and I give him a thumbs up back.
Oh,
Because I thought he's like, are you okay? Because I pull off the side of the road,
Right.
maybe he's thinking there's a car
Yeah.
problem or something.
And he's like, oh, I can't.
And then all of a
and
sudden,
then
opens the door. I'm like, oh, that's what he
just
meant.
drive around with your doors unlocked.
Yeah, that's why you locked
'cause
your
I-
That's what
doors.
blew my mind when I heard this. Yeah.
Yeah.
When I park my car, the doors automatically unlock. And I did not.
And you don't
Just press the
immediately.
button.
Normally
Maybe
I do.
this is
So
a
your
habit
car
that
betrayed
girls
you.
are into.
my car
car
betrayed me.
betrayed.
Yeah.
I didn't know there's going to be a person there. Like, who's walking around, like,
Usually,
I mean, it was around a certain area where there's typically, like, meth heads and stuff. But it was
Oh,
like...
was it out by? I don't want to say the town name.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, it was.
I think we all know where Chase was.
Dopeville.
We'll just say Stumptown.
Okay. All right. That works.
So he just gets in the car. I'm like, oh, okay. And I've got classical music playing. I was saved as one of my stations, and once in a while I just got a classical kick, and I just play classical music as I'm driving through the woods.
Uh-huh.
And so he gets in my car, and I'm like, oh, I'm listening to classical music. I was like, this might be kind of weird for him.
Weird for him.
I mean, like,
Got in your car.
I know.
A white guy
I don't know
driving
if
down
you
the
figured
side of the
this out,
road
but
listening
it's
to
not right.
classical
Sorry.
music.
Yeah.
And it's Chase.
And so, like, he's like, he asked me, like, I'm like, you going up to that name of the town? He's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, I'll take you there. And, like, so I'm starting to, like, I'm pulling out onto the road. And, like, he's like, are you an Uber? No. No, I'm not. And he's like, oh, I'll still pay you. I was like, no, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I'm assuming he didn't have money anyway, which later on I found out he didn't. And so then I'm thinking, like, of course I'm not an Uber. Like, I've never used an Uber, but I'm assuming there's some sort of process that
You
goes through it,
summon
aside
them,
from
yeah.
just get inside the
You
car.
have to, actually summon it with an app.
Yeah. And so
And
I'm
your
like,
car usually has a sticker that says
Yeah,
Uber or
it's a
Lyft.
sticker on the back.
Yeah.
Your phone actually set up in your car with like GPS so that
Yeah.
they know.
yeah. And so I'm like, oh, you should probably contact your Uber driver and let them know you're not going to get picked up so they don't go out there. And he kind of fidgets like he's going to get to his phone and do it. He's like, oh, it's okay. I'm like, it is not okay. So I've got my left hand on the steering wheel and my right hand clenching a fist down on my right knee, just ready.
Just in case.
I've never used my peripheral vision so much. I'm just like, if I see any weird movement, it's just knuckles to the face. It's like, and I don't know what else is going to happen after that, but it's not going to be good
For
for him definitely, but probably not for me either. And so like I start talking to him. I'm like, oh yeah, there's this pizza place right here. You ever been there? He's like, oh no, I lived in this town, but I've never been there. I was like, oh yeah, I used to live here. I never went either. I'm like, yeah, I used to live up here, and I pointed where I actually used to live. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh yeah, I did like construction work in this area. So I'm picking up these little tidbits. I'm like, if something goes on, like I want to know about this guy. Like, okay, he lives in this area. He did construction work, which is probably illegal work anyway, because I don't think anybody living in that town is doing legal work to begin with.
I thought you were saying anyone would hire him.
there's like the little Main Street area. There's like, I don't know, a dozen businesses. Those are probably the only legal places to work there. Everything else, I'm assuming, is all just
He's
not
getting paid
okay.
under the table.
Everything else is shady, under the table, weird stuff going on.
And he doesn't eat pizza, so something's clearly
Yeah,
wrong
he's
with
not
him.
even eating pizza. What's that about? And then it's at that point I realized, like, oh, I'm still listening to classical music as I'm just casually kind of talking to this guy. I'm like, I wonder if he's thinking I'm like one of those crazy white guy Hannibal Lecters that's just like, oh yeah, having a great day. Turn up the classical music. What are you doing for dinner? You know?
That's why he thought you were asking about the pizza place.
Yeah, he's probably like, oh, he's gonna eat
Does
me.
he prefer people who eat pizza? Does it make me taste better if I say yes?
You know what is really funny to me is that you had the whole scheme in your head of, I'm going to find out everything I can about this guy in case something happens, and you could have booted his ass out.
Well, I just,
This is
You
too
just
nice.
accepted him getting into your car.
I felt so awkward and weird at
No,
that
I
point.
feel
Like,
that,
he
but-
literally just sat down in my car. I'm like, oh yeah, JK, get the hell out of my car. It's like, what you just, like, no, get out. It's like, that just made me feel so uncomfortable. On top of the already uncomfortable part of having some random person get in my car.
Oh my God.
I'm like, man, this is just too much. I'm just going to drive 5 minutes down the road to this town and drop him off at Safeway and be done with it.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's what happened.
Where actually.
Exactly. That's one of the only
Like
few
I've been
places.
this part of Stumptown, yeah.
And that, boys and girls, is why you lock the doors to your car.
Right?
You know what's funnier about this town is did they get rid of that abandoned amusement park that's there? It's still there, right?
Is it an amusement park or
JJ's
like a
amusement
putt-putt
park?
place?
It's kind of across from that.
I don't know.
But-
I haven't seen that.
There was, for
where
a
I'm
few
going.
years, actually, I went to a haunted house on the lot of the abandoned amusement park when they still had, like, the Ferris wheel was up and rusting.
Oh,
and,
that's fun.
and, like, one of those, like little caterpillar rides and one of those, like, scrambler things that spins you around in a bunch of circles. Yeah, it's, like,
love that
right across from the putt-putt place on the other side of the highway.
If I wasn't 112% sure that a meth zombie was sleeping in one of those cups,
Right?
I would definitely go there and check that out.
They took all of it out a few years ago, and I think, and I'm kind of bummed by
That
it.
is sad.
I know.
Now Chase doesn't have another place to stash the bodies.
The parts I don't
It's
eat,
okay
anyway.
he eats it.
The parts he doesn't eat. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, you can't eat all of it.
I just love when you told me this too, like you were saying that you questioned changing the music at one point
Yeah.
to make him feel at ease.
Yeah, to make him feel more comfortable. And I
But
was
you
like,
didn't because you didn't want to seem racist.
yeah. It's because, like, I normally listen to all kinds of music. I'll listen to, like, rap and hip-hop, alternative rock, occasionally classical music, you know, pretty much anything. I don't like very much country and I don't like very much punk, but everything else, you know, even grunge I like. You know, everything else I'm cool with. And I was like, oh, this is strange. You get in my car and I'm listening to classical music. I was like, I should change it. And I was like, it's most likely like a hip-hop station, like a rap station. He might think I'm changing it just because he's brown and I'm white. And like, well, then I'm going to look racist.
That
That's,
would be bad.
That's not right. I'm like,
The funniest
Screw it,
story
he's
I
listening.
have heard in such a long time.
Chase had two,
So much nuance to it.
I was gonna say,
Oh
Chase
my
had two
God.
options here. He's like, on one hand, I could look like a racist. or I could look like a man who eats people.
Always go with eats people.
I want to go with eats people.
Always go with eats
I mean,
people.
to be fair, if you felt uncomfortable by him and you wanted him out of the car faster, leave the classical music on, because then he's going to be like, dude, I'm going to get eaten. If I stay here, I better get out now.
Who knows what would have happened if I turned it and it was like Tupac? Who knows? I would have been like, I feel comfortable now. The reason I didn't get my phone is because it's actually a knife. Stab. I'm like, oh, that hurt.
Oh my god.
So always play classical music when you're picking up the hitchhikers that you don't mean
Accidentally,
to pick up.
yeah. Oh my god.
Just come across as a creep and they might not try anything.
Yeah.
And just keep a very subtle smile on your face the whole time. Because I think I actually kind of laughed to myself a little bit. And I was like, that's probably creeping them out too. Because I thought,
You just have to laugh your normal laugh and they'll run.
Oh yeah, I just have to just laugh at something. Just
gosh, that would be so scary.
Now.
Imagine getting in your car if I don't know you, and we're driving around and all of a sudden you do that laugh. I'm like, I'm
Out of
opening my own door just rolling.
Tuck
Tuck and roll, Grandma.
Tuck and roll, Granny.
I'll take my chances with the road.
So yeah, be careful. You might accidentally pick up a hitchhiker.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's hilarious.
I'm very glad you shared that with us.
Yeah,
Well, you said you were always looking for creepy experiences.
and that was one.
Yeah.
I think
There
it
you
was.
go.
Honestly, I think
Maybe
it may
he
have been
was
more
a
creepy
ghost.
for him than me. I don't know.
Could be. You were someone's creepy story.
Yes. It's like, oh man, that white guy was gonna eat me. I've seen the TV shows. I know what they do.
You gotta make it wonder, if he tells this story to his friends, how does it go down for him?
Yeah.
It's like, I was waiting for this Uber on the side of the road. Because remember, how I was left on site because my girlfriend freaking dropped me off after smashing me in the head?
Oh shoot, he had blood on the side of his head too. Sorry. Now it didn't. It either wasn't his, or it was like, because he had his hair cut real short. It's like the really close buzz.
Yeah.
And so it could have either been like, I don't know, a pimple or something he'd scratched and just bled, or like a mosquito bite or something. Because it didn't seem, it wasn't like, oh wow, you've got a gash in your head and you're bleeding from it. It was just like the one, like, clearly one drop of blood had rolled down a little bit. You know, so it wasn't like, oh my gosh, you were just in, I even asked him, like, were you in the car accident? He's like, no. I was like, okay. I was like, you got a little bit of blood on your head, man. And of course, I don't notice this until I'm already driving. I'm like,
Oh my god.
I think you would have noticed if it was a big gash on the
Yeah,
side of his
definitely,
head.
Well, I gotta say, much like the hitchhiker that you probably ate, we have to go now.
real quick before we do though, back to Netflix.
Oh yeah.
They're $20 billion in debt.
Are you serious?
Yes. Or
Well-
so I've heard and read.
Oh, really?
So these shows are awesome, but is it enough to actually get them in the red?
I
They
wonder.
are
I
20
wonder.
million
If,
or were?
Are?
Oh.
I wonder if that's why they've been coming out with so many lately. Because it seemed like there was like just a couple kind of like scattered throughout, like Orange is the New Black, House of Cards, like for a few years, and then all of a sudden now it's just like, here's 12 new things.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if that's what they spent all their money on, and they're hoping to earn it back.
I'm
but-
assuming so. But now, how do they get it back? Like, you still just pay, what is it, like $7 to $14, something like that?
Yeah.
I mean,
Not
and
to
everybody
mention-
still is piggybacking off of each other.
They've worked some of that out, though, like, to where now it's like you can only be logged into, like, one device at a time or something with your username.
Oh, I
Or
see.
something. They did something like that
What it
recently.
works, it's like if 3 people or something are watching it at the same time, like it'll boot, or 4 people, it'll
someone
boot
just
someone
boot it.
off.
Yeah.
Yeah, that happened to me once when some of my friends were using my Netflix, and I called them, and I was like, "What are you doing? This is my Netflix."
Yeah. I also wouldn't be surprised if they raised the price just a little bit now that so many different places and like things are introducing their own streaming services. Like Amazon is trying really hard to kind of like amp theirs up.
Yeah.
CBS has their new one coming out with Star Trek. DC has a few shows worked out for their own, which I'm super excited for. But just as a side note.
Nice.
Yeah, we're definitely we're in the streaming world now. It's taking over. But it's another night, another podcast for that one.
Yeah.
As always, I'm George. With me is Eleni,
Have a good night, guys.
Natalie,
Take care.
and Chase.
Farewell, everybody.
Anytime you want to learn about our Famous Monsters conventions or anything that's related to Famous Monsters, you can always visit famousmonstersconventions.com or famousmonsters.com. Chase, where can they follow us online?
Go to Twitter and Instagram. You can follow us at Famous Monsters. If you go to Facebook, it's Famous Monsters of Filmland or FMOFL. And on YouTube, search for Famous Monsters of Filmland. And we've got all our videos, we put our podcasts up on there. And we do contests all the time on our social media, so keep looking at social media. We give contests for listening to podcasts and watching videos, so pay attention to that. And also, we've got some meetups coming up. So we're going to be meeting up with fans in the area who want to go see movies with us, who want to go
Sounds
see...
fun.
Yeah, like we're going to go see It on opening night.
I'm
so
really
that's gonna be
excited.
awesome.
Ooh, can I go?
Maybe.
You have to sign up on
You
the
have to,
meetup.
yeah, you got to get on
I guess I
meetup.
gotta sign up then.
Yeah, so lots of cool things coming.
Nice.
Plus our TV show on coffee in the Bay Area.
Yeah,
And
it's
on our
Coffee
YouTube
20.
page. Coffee 20, yeah, at 10 p.m. Pacific time every Saturday.
Yeah, watch it. It is amazing. I have a lot of fun on it.
Oh, yeah.
Granted, you don't get to see me. But I'm there. I'm always there in the background. Always.
We're there in your hearts.
Yeah. So, till next time.